Hello guys, and welcome back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. So guys, in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a transparent corset. Yes, so that's what we're going to learn how to do today. So in this first video I'm going to be showing you how to do the pattern drafting, and then in the next video we are going to do the sewing. So it is a very simple process, so I don't want to rush it. So that is why I am going to make it really detailed, that at the end of the day you'll be able to cut and sew your own transparent corset. So these are the fabric. I have a crepe and then I have my mesh. So my mesh is about 2 yards and then my crepe is about 1 yard. So that's what we are going to be doing today. So the first thing we're going to do, we are going to do the draft the back pattern. So like I said, please, if you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. So that's my shoulder line, my bust point, my under bust, my waist, and then my corset length. So these are the lines that I have on the pattern paper. Like I said, it's a simple process, so we're just drafting a basic bodice. The first thing we are going to do now, we are going to mark our shoulder measurement of 14 divided by 2. From there I'll come down by 1 inch, and then I'll slope that into my neckline. So from that neckline I'm going to come down by 7.5, which is half of my armhole, and then I'm going to mark it like this and then just create this line this way. Okay, so the next thing I am going to do, so that line will stand as my chest line. So the next thing I'm going to do, from this part I want to take out my bust span. Okay, before then, so let's mark our armhole. Even though all of these measurements, they are really not needed in this, but you need them as guides, so that is okay. So the next thing, we'll take the full body measurement. So I'll divide my bust by 4, I'll mark it, and then I'll add my stitching allowance, just 1 inch, and my dart. So the next thing, I'll come to the under bust line. I'm going to divide my under bust by 4, and then I'll mark that and then add my stitching allowance and then my dart intake. Okay, even though it is a dartless corset, we're going to cut it and then tape it back. So I'll come to the waist circumference also. I'll divide that by 4 and then I'll mark and add the allowance. I'll come to the waist measurements, that's the corset hem. I'll divide by 4, mark my allowance, and then add my dart intake. So when I am done, all of these lines, just like I marked them, I'm going to use a straight line just like this, you can see, and then I would connect them together, all of the lines. Okay, so the next thing, that chest line, I'm going to extend it, just like extend it. Before then, I want to just take my bust span first before I'll do that. So I'll divide my bust span into 2 and then I'll add it. So I have 4.5, that's nipple to nipple. So I have 4.5. So the 4.5, I'm going to extend it. I'll connect it with a straight ruler. So you can see connecting it with a straight ruler. So now I can extend that line now. So it's still the same thing, so just do whatever you want. So now I want to take out my dart, so I'll come to the waistline. I'll take out half inch to the two side, that's half inch, which is 1 inch, and then I would mark it and then create out my dart legs for my piece. Okay, so I'll just mark it that way. So the next thing I am going to do now, I'm going to Okay, so the next thing I want to tighten this part a little bit. So you can notice that this part is a little bit fast. It is optional because after all, it is a dartless corset, so you really don't need that. So after that, I'll just mark the eyelet part, and then I'll extend my up part. I just extended it half of an inch and then cut everything off. So like I said, the second dart is optional. You don't really need it because it is that less corset. So that's what I mean. We're still going to tape everything together. So now we're going to draft the front part. So this part is a little bit slow because I want you to understand it. So you take your shoulder measurement, divide by 2, mark it, and then come down by 1 inch, and then float that into your neckline. So the next thing from that part, so I'm labeling all of my lines: back, shoulder line, bust point, under bust, waist. So now come down by 7.5 inches, just like I did half of my armhole, which is 15. And then I'll mark that line straight. So that line is going to serve as my chest line. So the next thing, I'm using my bust pan measurement, which is 4.5, like I said earlier. So you can see I extended it across all of those lines, okay? And then I'm going to mark that line. I'll just connect it straight to that chest line point. So the next thing now, I want to take out my dart. So I'm using a dart of 3 inches. So I'll use take 1.5 to the right and then 1.5 to the left. So you can do 1 inch. So like I said, it is a dartless corset. So at the end of the day, you're still going to gum them back. And then the next thing, you just connect that, take a curve, create that curve, and then connect it into your bust point line. So can you see for the both sides? And then from there, you extend that line, just extend it down straight like that, okay? And then you connect the other one also, extend it. Please guys, if you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button. I would really appreciate it, okay? So the next thing I am going to do, from my chest line, I want to come up by 1.5 inch. You can do 2 inches, depends on how covered you want your corset to be. So I'll extend that line. So on that line, I'm going to do a tightening. That's where I want to create my cup. So I'll come out by half of an inch, and then I'll take my curve and then connect that line. Just connect it to that center point like that, okay? So you can see the way I am connecting it. I'm connecting it straight that way. Okay, so the next thing now, we want to create um form our cups. So in order for us to create and form our cups, I'll come in by half of an inch at that point, okay? So just from the under bust line, just mark half of an inch across all the lines and then rule it with a straight line. Just take a look at what I am doing. So just connect it straight to that under bust line. The next thing we're going to do from that under bust line, so I'm trying to highlight the line properly. So like I said, please, if you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button. So we want to create our curve. So can you see, just place your pattern curve at the down part and just curve that into the bust point line on that point, okay? So the next thing now, we're taking our full body measurement first. So divide your bust circumference by 4, mark it, and then divide your waist, sorry, your under bust also. Just divide all of your measurements just as you see them on the screen, divide them by 4, and then you add them. And then you come to the waist also, you divide your measurement by 4, add your stitching allowance and then your dart, and then come to the hem. So divide by 4, add that, and then add. So when you are done with all of these lines, you connect them. So use your pattern curve to connect all the lines, connect all of them back. So you can see, so just connect them back. So when you connect them back, it will look like this. So the next thing now, we want to form our second cup. Before then, I want to mark my armhole measurement. So I did not create the curve initially. That's my armhole curve, okay? So now, because you need it, because the second cup is going to blend that way. So the next thing, I want to mark my neckline. So I actually want a straight neckline, not a deep neckline. So in another video, we're going to be doing a plunging neckline transparent corset. So let's this one be like the first one for beginners. So you create that curve. Can you see the way I curve them? You see the way I curved the first one, just curve it into your neckline. And then for this part, I am the difference between my under bust and my bust point is 3 inches, so I added 1 inch to it. So that is where I am curving now. So you can see, that this cup on this side is bigger than the other one because I added 1 inch to it. Another thing that you can do, you can measure the size of your cup on that side and then add 1 inch to it on this side. So that is it. That's all for this. You can see it is a simple process drafting this corset. If you have any questions, you can drop your questions on the comment section. So for this, I want to curve the hem of my corset. So I just took my pattern curve. I came up by like 2.5 inches and then just curve that into that part just to give it that shape. Okay, if you notice, you can see that my corset, you see the way it is open at the down part. Yes, it's because I want it to have a little bit of free, even though I'm using a mesh, so it is still soft. So just take a look at the way I'm cutting out the cup. Can you see how I am cutting out the cups? So I'll cut out that. That's the first cup, and then I'll cut out the second cup. Can you see? So just cut them all out like this. So now we want to close our dart because we're making a transparent corset. You don't need those that. You don't need lines, plenty lines. You don't need stitching lines, yes, on your corset. So just cut that out and then fold this part. Just close in the dart that way. So you can see when you close it, you can see your corset pattern looking like this, okay? Yes, so I'll just tape that down. So this is what I'll place on my tool or my mesh, and then I would label my cups so I will know. So those cups, they are very important. You need to label them so you not go and sew them miss, or else the cup is going to look very funny. So now our back piece, I'm going to tape them together. So like I said, this second dart is was not necessary. So but me, I just wanted it. Okay, so I'll tape all of those pieces. So I need to tape them down, and then before I'll place them on my tool to cut. So like I said, please, if you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button. If you have not subscribed to my channel already, subscribe. If you are not a channel member, you can hit on the join button and become a channel member. Support the channel. So the next thing, I want to cut out the part I'm going to put my eyelet. So I just asked for the eyelet chamber. So I'm cutting it out. So you can use 2 inches, you can use 1.5, depends on how open you want the back to be, you understand? So that's that. So I'll cut this out. So this part now, that's what I'll place it on the tool later. So the next thing now, we are going to place all of this on our materials, and then we are going to cut out. Okay, so the next thing now, I will just get my fabric. So like I said, if you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button. So this one, I am trying to curve the waist of the back. So I'll place all of my materials on my tool. So I folded my tool into 4. So it is folded into 4, but when you open it, it's going to be folded into 2. I'm still going to add 1 layer to it. When I place the boning, I'm still going to cover it down. I'll tone it down with 1 more. So it depends. You can tone it down as how you however you want. Okay, so I'll still use 1 to cover it. So like I said, please hit on the like button. I'll see you guys in the next sewing video. Bye.